Hey there, fellow educators. What if I told you that summer professional learning could actually energize you instead of drain you? Most of us fall into one of two camps. We either skip professional learning entirely because we're exhausted, or we overwhelm ourselves trying to attend every workshop that sounds interesting. But here's the thing, research shows that teachers who engage in targeted summer learning report higher job satisfaction and better student outcomes. The key word is targeted. Today, I'm going to share about how to make strategic choices that will transform your September classroom while still honoring your need to recharge. Whether you're a first year teacher building your toolkit or a veteran seeking fresh inspiration, I'll share the 80-20 rule for summer learning, why timing matters more than you think, and how to actually implement what you learn when school starts again. Because let's be honest, we've all been to that amazing conference the week before school starts and had zero time to integrate what we've learned. That ends today. Let's dive into the episode together and keep learning and growing. This is Solutions Teaching Strategies, the podcast that extends education beyond the classroom. A show that isn't just theory, but practical, try it tomorrow approaches for educators and caregivers to ensure every student finds their spark and receives the support they need to thrive. Welcome back to Solutions Teaching Strategy Summer Series. This is the podcast for teachers who never stop learning. I'm your host, Olivia Wall, and today we're diving into something that might feel like the last thing you want to think about during summer break: professional learning. But before you hit skip, hear me out. We're talking about the kind of summer learning that actually energizes you instead of draining you, and how to make strategic choices that will transform your September classroom. Whether you're a first-year teacher looking to build your toolkit or a veteran educator seeking fresh inspiration, this episode is your guide to maximizing summer workshops and conferences. I'll cover how to choose the right opportunities, what to look for, and most importantly, how to implement what you learn when school starts again. Let's begin with a reality check. Summer is precious. You've earned this time to recharge, and the last thing you need is to burn out before September even arrives. That's why being strategic about professional learning is crucial. So let's first identify your why. Are you struggling with classroom management? Do you want to integrate more technology? Are you hoping to differentiate instruction better? Maybe you're teaching a new grade level or subject area this fall. Your specific challenges should drive your choices, not just what sounds interesting or what your district is offering. Here's a framework I recommend: the 80-20 rule for summer professional learning. Spend 80% of your professional learning time on your biggest challenge or newest responsibility, and 20% on something that sparks your curiosity. This ensures that you're addressing real needs while still feeding your passion for learning. And timing matters too. Consider scheduling intensive workshops or conferences for the end of July or early August. This still gives you time then to decompress from this school year first, but leave space to process and plan implementation before September arrives. We know that nothing's worse than attending an amazing conference the week before school starts and having no time to integrate what you've learned. And research shows that teachers who engage in targeted professional learning during summer break report higher job satisfaction and better student outcomes the following year. But the key word here is targeted. Random workshops won't move the needle. Strategic choices will. Now let's talk about the different types of opportunities available and how to evaluate them. Virtual conferences have exploded in popularity, and for good reason. They're cost-effective, they eliminate travel time, and often offer recorded sessions that you can revisit. But the downside? It's easier to get distracted at home, and you miss the networking opportunities that make in-person events so valuable. If you choose virtual, Treat it like you would an in-person conference. Block your calendar, find a quiet space, and engage actively in chat discussions. In-person conferences and workshops offer irreplaceable benefits. Hands-on experiences, face-to-face networking, and that energy you get from being surrounded by passionate educators. Yes, they're more expensive and time-consuming, but the connections you make can transform your career. Look for events that offer a mix of large keynotes and small breakout sessions where you can really dig deep. Subject-specific conferences are gold mines for content teachers. Whether it's the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics or the National Art Education Association or your state science teachers conference, these events offer cutting-edge research and practical strategies you won't find in general education conferences. Pedagogical conferences focus on how we teach rather than what we teach. These are perfect if you're looking to improve your instructional strategies, assessment practices, or classroom culture. Look for events focused on differentiation, project-based learning, or social-emotional learning. And don't overlook local opportunities. University education departments often host summer institutes. Local education cooperatives might offer specialized training you could take advantage of. These can be more affordable and still incredibly valuable. When evaluating any opportunity, make sure to ask yourself, do the presenters have recent classroom experience? Is there a balance of theory and practice? Will I leave with specific tools I can use immediately? Are there opportunities for follow-up support or community building? So how do you maximize your investment? Attending is really just the beginning. The real value comes from what you do during and after the experience. I love to go to a bookstore and get a beautiful new journal to take all of my notes for each conference. And during workshops or conferences, I try to resist the urge to collect every handout and attend every session. Instead, I focus on depth over breadth. I make sure to eat, I make sure to use the bathroom, I make sure to take breaks as needed. I choose fewer sessions so that I can engage fully. I take notes on not just what's being presented, but I also keep track of how I might adapt it for my specific context and roles. I snap photos of slides if it's okay with the facilitators that resonate, but I don't rely solely on the photos. I write down and leave space in my notebook for the slides I've taken photos of that I'll revisit. I write down my immediate thoughts and reactions in my notebook too. I network very intentionally. Instead of trying to meet everyone, I aim for 3 meaningful conversations per day. I always exchange contact information with people who inspire me or face similar challenges, because these connections often prove more valuable than any session content. And here's a game changer that I have found when I'm attending conferences. I call it the implementation planning moment. Before I leave any professional learning experience, I spend 10 minutes writing down 3 specific things that I will try when I'm back in a school or classroom. Not 20 things, 3. I try to be really concrete. So instead of saying use more technology, I would instead write implement 1 new digital tool for student collaboration in my first unit. After the event and I'm home, I schedule time within 48 hours to review my notes and create my action plan. Research shows that without this immediate follow-up, 87% of new learning is forgotten within a month. Do not let that happen to you. You could also consider creating a professional learning journal or digital portfolio where you document your learning journey. I try to do this for myself. I include key insights, implementation plans, and even reflections on what worked and what didn't. This is an invaluable resource for my future planning, and it can even support evaluation or certification renewal requirements. The true test of any professional learning is what happens in your classroom or school. Start small and build momentum. Remember those 3 specific goals you identified? Tackle 1 in your first week back, 1 in your second week, and 1 in your third week. This prevents overwhelm and increases the likelihood of sustained implementation. Share your learning with your colleagues. Not only does this reinforce your own understanding, but it multiplies the impact of your investment. You could offer to present the key ideas at a department meeting or faculty gathering. It also establishes you as a learning leader in your building. Make sure to document what works and what doesn't. Take photos of successful implementations, collect student feedback, and note any modifications you make. This documentation serves multiple purposes because it helps you refine your practice, and it also provides evidence of professional growth. It can be shared with other educators facing similar challenges too. Consider the ripple effect, or what I love to call the pollination effect. Often what you learn in one workshop or conference can be applied across multiple areas of your teaching. A classroom management strategy might improve your advisory period. A new assessment technique might work in multiple subject areas. Look for these connections, and then you can maximize your learning investment. Finally, start planning for next summer now. Keep a running list throughout the school year of challenges you face, questions that arise, and areas where you want to grow. This ensures your next professional learning choices are even more strategic and impactful. Remember, the goal isn't to completely reinvent your teaching practice every summer. It's to continuously refine and improve, one strategic learning experience at a time. Your students and your own job satisfaction will thank you for the investment. So to wrap, I just want to remind you, summer professional learning isn't about working through your vacation. It's about investing in your craft and your career. When done strategically, it can energize rather than exhaust you. And it sets you up for a more confident, effective school year. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you found this helpful, share it with a colleague who might be considering summer learning opportunities just like you. And remember, the best teachers are always students themselves. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing. Take care. Solutions Teaching Strategies is created, produced, and edited by me, Olivia Wall. Thank you to my older son, Benjamin, who created the music playing in the background. You can follow and listen to Solutions wherever you get your podcasts, or subscribe to never miss an episode and watch on YouTube. Now I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email at solutionspodcast@gmail.com. Let me know which conferences you're excited to attend and what your professional learning implementation plan is. Don't forget to tune in every Monday and Friday this summer for mini episodes filled with tips and ideas that will help you prepare for September while still resting and rejuvenating this summer. See you on Friday for another tip, and until then, enjoy the sunshine and take care.